It's a view from the hill on this Saturday morning. Daniel Perry, Rob Cora, Nathan Wright and Steve Williams. We'll find out what's been happening on the forums in a second, but we got an email last week, and you can always email us, radio@leagueunlimited.com, that we actually took to the forums. Well, the idea comes from Hugh. Hugh, good morning to you. And he says, not wishing to bring a downer to the show, but perhaps you guys might investigate the issue of the cost to an individual or family to attend NRL matches casually. You may have covered this before. We haven't, actually. Some of the grounds are an absolute rip-off. Now, we've actually taken it to the forum, Steve, and as I welcome you again, we've all got something to say about this, but we've actually done a poll on whether it is too expensive a day out of the footy, and some interesting results, Steve.
Yes, it's a view from the Hill poll on the League Unlimited forums asking supporters if the cost of going to the game is too expensive. The preamble outlined the type of responses we were seeking, and that is how expensive it is to go to football nowadays for individuals and for families. Not just the ticket price, but also the food and drink prices. Questions such as, do you have any tricks that can bring the cost down? Are you well on off, so is it a non-issue for you? Do you struggle to go but manage to go to a few games anyway? Or have you just given up going because it's simply too darn expensive? Now, roughly 73% voted that yes, it is too expensive to go to an NRL game. But interestingly, of those 73 who voted yes, roughly two-thirds of them said that they would still find a way to go to the game anyway. And roughly 27 voted no, the price is no object. Presumably that's our more well-off supporters. While 0% voted no, it's not too expensive, but I have better things to spend my money in. So not surprising on a rugby league forum, but a positive response there nonetheless. And the posts were from supporters as well, and I understand you've picked a few to read out.
Yes, we have. We'll get to that in a second, but Nathan's actually been doing a bit of research. He's been sitting at his computer every day this week, hasn't moved apparently, but he has been doing some research on this. What are your thoughts on it, Nathan?
Yeah, well, I think a day at the footy is too expensive. Ticket prices, food prices, transport prices, whatever. They are too expensive for a family or an individual to go. Obviously, my first suggestion is become a member of your club. It's a lot cheaper. I'm a member of the Roosters. I pay $160 for my season ticket. And if you weren't a member and you went to all these individual games, you would probably cover $160 in the first 5 or 6 games, whereas I get it for the whole year. So that's my first lesson, is become a member. Also, another thing, the ticket prices. I've got a few examples here. For an adult general admission to Canberra, it went down there earlier in the year, it was $38. Compared to an adult general admission at Parramatta, which is $27, went there last week. So that's $11 difference there. Another thing that covers the ticket prices is the cost of stadium rent. Teams like the Rabbitohs and Bulldogs, for argument's sake, they rent ANZ Stadium every game all year for, let's just say, $5 million each. And then Parramatta could use Parramatta Stadium for $2 million. So obviously the Rabbitohs and the Bulldogs have a lot more money to make up for than what Parramatta do. So their tickets are going to be more expensive than tickets to Parramatta. Food and drink prices are ridiculous. It's like $6, $7 for a pie, $5.50 for a bottle of Coke or something ridiculous like that. So people, they go to the games, but they don't eat there. So that costs the stadium more money as well now. Transport. This is a big issue for me. Obviously, when we went out to Origin last week, transport was free. You go out to your big games, your grand finals, it's free. But we went to Parramatta last week, and to get a train out there, like majority of away supporters do when we travel, we've got to buy a ticket. That's wrong. The NRL, all clubs should get in talk to City Rail or public transport, where the clubs are, and get anyone that has a ticket free public transport to the game, and make suburban grounds like Manly, like Leichhardt, more accessible to public transport via buses. Because I know when we went to Manly, we had to get off at Warringah Mall and walk a kilometre to the ground. They should get special buses that go straight to the ground. I think that's what up. Family tickets. I saw last week out at Penrith, they were offering a family of 4, so that's 2 adults, 2 kids, $50 to go to the game. That's $12 each. There needs to be more of that. I know it was Sunday afternoon and it was sunny out there. But doesn't matter what time of day it is, more clubs need to start doing that because more families will go, as well as it saves them money. And now the merchandise prices. People don't buy merchandise as much anymore because it's expensive. $160 for a jersey, that's too expensive, so people don't buy that too. And then the other one I have is there's the lack of games. Now there's only 2 games. There's first grade and there's the Holden Cup. most people don't even show up for Holden Cup. They just show up 5, 10, 15 minutes before the first grade game. There's obviously, there's no major pre-match or post-match entertainment at the ground. It's basically just the football, and you go home. That's about it. But I think it is too expensive. The clubs need to have a look at the way they operate to make it more affordable for families to come. And if they do this, they'll get bigger crowds. As simple as that.
Yeah, we got some replies on the forum as well, Rob. Let's just run through a few of them. I think it's John's Red said, I got my season ticket for about $190 for 12 home games. That's less than $16 a game. I usually buy about 5 beers per game, approximately $35, and usually buy some food beforehand at the stadium, $10. So all up about $60 per game, which in my opinion is a pretty good bargain. Someone touches on what Nathan said, get a season membership and eat before the game. Simple, I suppose so. That was from Sum11. Rabbitohs 95 says, used to go to Allianz every couple of weeks to see the Roosters play whenever the Bunnies were out of town, and used to use my footy player card to get in there for free. This year I finished playing, I still decided to go for $25 for a GA concession card. I don't know, about 15 to 17 at Souths games. Tonesy says need to make an even $20 a ticket. And Rob, I actually do agree with that. They should be making it $20 a ticket. We'll talk about that in a moment. And just a few others here. Just paid $379 for a ticket to the Dodgers game at the SCG. Of course, the baseball coming out. Supposedly that's a bit different. And one other person says it is ridiculously expensive. $7.50 for a 600ml bottle of Coke. I just buy one from Woolies for $3 before the game and smuggle it in. I can't imagine how families manage to make it to the games. Rob, you've got a few more, and also, just back to that point, I think set price, $15, $20, get more people in, they'll make more money.
No, I agree with that. Well, yes, I've got Prometheus here. He's sort of saying he paid $7.50 for a Coke. I thought $4 for water was bad. The guy sitting 2 downs in front of me tonight paid $11 for a can of beer. Skeppy says, Skeep says, too expensive. My wife and I used to find a way to get there anyway, but now with a new addition to family, there's just no way we can justify the expense. $40 for cheap seats? Sorry, that's ridiculous. There's a number of... at Suncorp Stadium here, we've got Fantastic says at Suncorp Stadium, they charge me $8 to dilute my water with a bit of beer. So there's various responses there. Look, I do think that this goes back to, the people running the game. We've got these millionaires running the game at the moment. They got to realise, things are okay for them. But everyone else out there is sort of like finding things a bit difficult. And the thing that worries me is when you've got this new CEO talking about jumping castles and rock bands, well, that just means the price is going to go up. If you're going to start talking about jumping castles and rock bands, that equals higher prices. The merchandising, I agree with Nathan. It is a complete rip-off. I did make this point a few weeks ago about some rugby league clubs seem to have adopted sort of the ideology of banks. Banks used to sort of like were established to look after their customers. Now the banks seem to be only too keen to, rip off the customers so they can make themselves a bit more of a bonus and that sort of thing. And I think some of these rugby league clubs, especially when it comes to those jerseys, I do think they've got adopted the banking ideology. Overall, I think what the game needs to realise, what these millionaire executives need to realise, is there is a reliance now on TV money. If you want a good TV show, you've got to have a big crowd. That's why this Olympic Stadium there is doing so much damage to the game of rugby league. The Olympic Stadium is doing too much damage to the game of rugby league. If you're sitting at home watching a game that's been broadcast from Olympic Stadium, you know what you're going to say to yourself? Well, look, no one's there. Why should I go along? That's what you can say. That's why they've got to put the prices down. Prices, I'd say $10, $15. And kids under 16 should be going in for free.
I think that's fair enough. We'll have to move on in a second, but you're right. I mean, you look at the Olympic Stadium. It's a tough for the NRL because they need, obviously they paid, Channel 9 paid a lot of money to get the TV rights, but they also want people on seats at the game as well. I went to a South Knights game a few weeks ago, $38 to get in. to watch the South Sydney Rabbitohs play the Newcastle Knights. Just too expensive. A State of Origin tickets, the cheapest are $55, $60, so it's $20 less expensive. Very quickly, Rob?
Well, here as well. We've got one saying a traditional family of 2 adults and 2 kids will part with over $80 just to get in the door at any ground. The food and drink options are not drink either. It's out of range for most people here. Not the millionaires, of course. Well, they get in for free anyway. But you've got to bring those prices down, I think.
Okay, we'll check out what else is happening on the forums in a sec. But right after this, we're going to preview the New South Wales Cup.
You're listening to A View from the Hill, the Rugby League Supporters Program.
It's A View from the